Hello, my name is Tim Vollmer, and this is my optimization final project. I'm doing a structural optimization of a walking platform. Me being an engineer in the aerospace industry, a common thing you see on the line is work stands. On these work stands, it gives the workers access to the top of the aircraft while workers are also able to work underneath. Background related work. Engineers are always constantly running simulations on various platforms to ensure safety requirements are met before going into production. They use a number of different programs out there to analyze the structure. Some include Abacus, Patran, CATIA, Mechanica. There's many others. I obviously am using HyperWorks OptiStruct, which allows engineers to simulate what would be the stiffest structure versus using these other programs, which you run one FEA analysis, and then you have to keep changing constraints or setups and then compare those to figure out which one will be the optimal solution. And you might not even find the optimal solution, but one that will work. My basic setup attributes: my material is aluminum. I'm using a 24 by 24 by 2 inch plate. It's fixed at one end, a 300-pound point load at the other end. My optimization attributes: my constraint is volume frac, which is essentially minimizing the amount of volume and essentially the mass. My objective is compliance, which allows the program to find the stiffest structure with the given constraints. You see displacement there. I added that to the final test run just to verify that my structure is not deflecting too much. My first test setup, you see it's fixed at the one end. Then I use the RBE function with the force of 300 pounds. On the left, you can see the load collector with the constraint and forces, my topology design variable, the material, my objective, my optimization constraints, and then my responses. I'm going to show you this video here, which is the first setup running through the iterations. It's pretty quick. It took 16 iterations, as you can tell. I'll slow it down here, and you can see it getting to the optimal solution in the end. The next slide here, I just want to show you what happens when you put a finer mesh. It gets to a better structure and shows you more what the program's trying to optimize within this structure. So let me go ahead and go to the video and run you through the iteration. You can see how this program gets you to a pretty quick solution pretty quickly, and then along the edges it shows you that optimal and how it's trying to optimize the structure and get to its final solution. This one took 18 iterations. My final test setup here is when I added the displacement. I still have the same constraints, the same fine mesh, and the same force on it. So let me go to the video and show you how I get essentially the same exact structure. I did add color to this one for contrast, but it's the same thing. You can see the structure ends up being the same. And my results, so you can see that the optimal solution with it being fixed at the one end and the force down is this structure right here. The added displacement, you can see there was no change. The structure is still the same. Continuing work in this is there's numerous future applications, whether it be aircraft structure, automobile parts, furniture. The main thing to note here is to understand what constraints you need to put on an object, whether it be thermal, trying to make sure that it can be machined. You want to make sure there's no voids within the structure. There's various constraints out there you can use within OptiStruct. It's a powerful program, and the study that I just showed you touched a very small part of the program's capabilities. Here's my references slides, and does anyone have any questions?